all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute, she spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Jones puts the afterburners on. Shot in Harris. 2 on 1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott. Oh, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks around the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Girls ride with me, all my girls with me. Ride with me.
Turnover by Molloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. Now Bristol Pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Ride with me, all my girls with me.
Good afternoon to you all at home to wonderful West London, the home of Wasps, and season's greetings for our final instalment of 2020 for the Allianz Premier 15s. It's round 9 and we're ending with 3rd versus 5th for what's fast becoming a traditional Christmas fixture between Wasps and Gloucester-Hartpury. Gloucester-Hartpury came down here last year and spoilt the party a little bit for good old Wasps. But there is a Twyford twinkle in Wasps' eyes who are on a 3-game winning streak at the moment and really looking to progress and chase down Saracens in 2nd. I'm Joe Burns and this is Abby Burton, injured Wasps player, who is going to be joining me for today's match. And Abs, I guess first and foremost, we've got to find out, how's the injury? What's the prognosis?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame being injured, especially at this time of the year with the last game left to be played. But unfortunately, injured myself when I was on camp the week of the one of the England-France games, and had it opt on. Hopefully, looking to make a mighty comeback in February time. But yeah, doing all right. Still involved in everything round with all the girls, and just keeping on moving.
Keeping on moving. Okay, well, the reason that we're moving live on the stream for you today is because of the Wasps Legends Charitable Foundation, who had a whip round and enabled us to put this on today. We're really looking forward to hosting you, giving you a bit of insight into Wasps, but also doing Gloucester-Hartpury justice as well. Abby actually was educated, so she's got a foot in both camps, sort of, but you're firmly a Wasp now. It's your first season at the club, having been playing for England Sevens. How's the season been? How are you finding it here?
Yeah, I couldn't have had a greater welcome when I came to Wasps this season. It was a tough call of where I wanted to go, whether it was between Gloucester or it was between Wasps, but I don't regret my decision at all. It's been absolutely amazing. The girls are so welcoming. We have girls from all over the different nations, Ireland, Wales, and in England as well, and they've just been the best thing that I could ever ask for in support on and off the pitch. As well, the coaching staff here as well, with Giselle, LJ and Ollie, as well as the analysis team. They've been amazing, and they're just here just to help us develop, and we all have the same goal of wanting to win at the end of the season. We want to be at the top of the league, and we want to come out with that AP 15s trophy at the end of the season, and we all have that collective goal, which has been really refreshing to hear, coming from such a competitive environment in the England Sevens and then moving here. You crave that competitiveness, and we've got that here at Wasps, and that's anything you can ask for as a rugby player.
So plenty of ambition here at Wasps. You touched on Giselle the great Giselle Mather, the head honcho here at Wasps. And we were talking last night on the phone and you were telling me how impressed you are with the innovation that she employs. I'd love you to give us a bit more insight into that.
Yeah, Giselle is a character that when I first came here, we were doing pre-season training and Giselle said to me, she's like, right, you need to be here at like 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I thought, she's joking, isn't she? Like, we're not even playing for anything at the moment, but she wants us to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning to do condition games, to run around the pitch, to then go do more analysis on rugby. And just the way that she thinks and her creativity on and off the pitch is something that I've never seen before and I've never had from a coach before, that level of creativity. So there's some of the things that she gets us doing with like electronic visors on our heads, with like making different patterns with them while still trying to pass under pressure. I just never would have thought of it and never would have thought that it would have been relevant to our game, but she comes out every single week thinking of a new drill, something different for us to do, something that can be applicable to our game at this current time with all the rule changes, and she is just immense with it, and she comes out and always with a smile on her face, ready to show us what she's got and how we can develop as a team.
Right, so plenty of creativity when it comes to carving that path to success, I guess. But look, a team that's standing in their way is a team that you know well, Gloucester-Hartpury. They've had a bit of a mixed bag this season, but if there's one thing in the Gloucester-Hartpury DNA, that is winning.
Exactly, yeah. That I played for Gloucester in 2018 season, and at Gloucester they will want to win. It's been throughout the system at Gloucester-Hartpury, they want to win, and it just showed in a few weeks ago since their Quins game how much of a performance that they put on, and they are a force to be reckoned with in the AP 15s at the moment. And they're stacked with internationals from Wales to England and Scotland all the way through. And they will be a really, really tough challenge for Wasps to overcome today. And I'm really, really excited to see who's going to tip it.
You mentioned that incredible, losing performance ultimately against Quins, but very impressive. You've also identified a player to me in the centres wearing 13.
Yeah, Hannah Jones today is definitely one to watch. She's a Welsh international, also part of the GB Sevens squad as well. She's been tearing it up in the AP 15s over the past couple of weeks, pulling the strings in the centres, getting her hands on the ball early. We're seeing that pace and we're seeing that dynamic and movement that she can show on the pitch. And it's been really, really exciting to watch her play and come into her shell.
Right, so Hannah's one to watch out for in the back line for Hartpury, but while rugby is a team game, there are always individual battles, and the key battleground undoubtedly has to be the number 9 jersey. 2 England players, Mo Hunt and Claudia McDonald, drawing battle. They're going to be doing battle for that 9 jersey in a World Cup year as well. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we've got the experience of Mo coming off World Cups, coming off the Olympics, coming off all this experience and knowledge that she has behind her, compared to Claudia McDonald, just changed across to the number 9 shirt, but she might have just changed 2 years ago, but by no mean feat she will put on a show for us today. Her skills and her pace and ability off the base of the ruck is immense, but then you also see Mo being the captain for Gloucester as well, being able to pull the strings in their attack and in their defence between the forwards and the backs. She's a big link play between all of them. So I'm really, really excited to see that battle, especially at scrum time as well. Who's going to be nudging each other, who's going to be giving each other a bit of summit on the pitch. But I'm really, really excited to see that today.
Right, so there are the teams and there are a few of the key battles and some of the main protagonists in our act today. But let's take a look at some of the other fixtures that are going on today in the AP 15s, because it's not just us here at Wasps. We got another game kicking off at 1:30. Up north, DMP Durham Sharks make their return, searching for that first win of the season against Bristol Bears. While only 30 minutes later, 2 o'clock, we've got 2 matches kicking off. Exeter Chiefs take on Sale in the battle of the new kids on the block, while Saracens are also back in action against Loughborough Lightning. Sunday, that's the last one on the ticket, the last one of 2020 in fact. Worcester Warriors welcome high-flying Harlequins at Six Ways. A look at the table. It's a familiar picture at the top of the table, with undefeated Quins and Saracens leading the charge toward Premier 15 glory. A full complement of try-scoring bonus points means it's a perfect start for the pair. Sarries have played a game less due to COVID complications earlier this month, but if both sides manage to navigate this weekend unscathed, they'll make their 2nd of January top table clash at the Stoop even more mouth-watering. A Wasps win and a North London loss for Lightning today would see some daylight open up between 4th and 5th, but of course Gloucester-Hartpury, they're going to have their own ideas this afternoon in Lesuing Loughborough, that little bit closer before they meet in early Jan. Freshly established Exeter will be content, if not entirely satisfied, with 6, as recent performances have shown there's plenty more to come from Susie Appleby's side. They lead Bristol and Worcester, who've played a game more, but fellow newcomer Sale can do a job in Devon today. They'll nestle themselves nicely among the lower table peloton. DMP Durham, well, it's been a tough old campaign thus far. They won't have expected to be top of the charts like Mariah this season, but similarly, all they'll want for Christmas is one thing, and that is a win. They'll get the chance to do that against Bristol today, who kick off at the same time as us. I've literally listened to Matt. So there's your full picture of the Premier 15s, but our big focus is here for Wasps against Gloucester-Hartpury. And look, a last word before we hear from the coaches. Who's going to come out with the W today?
I'm going to try not to be biased, but I think the Wasps will come out with the win today, just off of their back-to-back performances at the moment. Really, really good form, but Gloucester will give something to show us about that, won't they? But Wasps for me today.
Wasps for Abby. Let's hear from the coaches, who will have their own opinion. Giselle, great to see you. You've named 22 of your best today for Gloucester-Hartpury, but Wasps is more than just the matchday 22. It's a whole club.
I would like to say a massive thank you to the Wasps Legends. This stream has been put together because of them. Once a Wasp, always a Wasp. They have looked at the situation. They want to see the games. Obviously, us going back into Tier 3 meant that we can't have spectators here like we did against Loughborough. So they've gone, right, we want to have this. We want to have the opportunity to see what's going to be a fantastic game. And they've got together, raised the funds in order that we can have a stream game, which is so important for the women's game, and I just want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of them for being the wonderful Wasps that they are, and to wish them all a really happy Christmas and hope that this is a fantastic game to grace the funding that they have got together for us.
Well, I think for the fortunate few of us here today and all of those watching at home, they are very excited for this game because it's quite a rivalry that you've got with Gloucester-Hartpury. They've won 3, you've won 3 in Premier 15's history. How are you approaching this game today?
We have big respect for them, obviously, as an opponent because of those statistics that you've just read out. We've had a look at them, but we've focused largely on ourselves. And the game that we're playing, we're advancing every week. We're on a good run of form. And we want to carry this into this game. We know it's going to be hugely physical and that we have to deliver on that, but that's something that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks really well, and so we want to bring that into this game and put them under as much pressure as we possibly can.
Yes, when Giselle Mather sits down and pulls some crackers at Christmas and thinks about 2021, what are you going to be wishing for that your team can offer you that they haven't already offered so far this year?
Do you know what? I think from the whole squad's point of view, when we play, we sit down, we have a look at it, we select something that we're not happy with, we talk about it, we train it, and the players are producing it on the field week in, week out. Now, from a coaching team point of view, that's a dream, and they've been delivering that whatever it is that we put in front of them, they've gone, yeah, okay, we can sort that, and we work it, and it's happening. So I would hope that in 2021 we can continue to do that. We have ambitions to be in those semi-finals and finals, and that means that we've got to keep developing as a side because we don't sit top of the table just yet. So we've got to keep developing as a side in order that we would be ready for the right time at the end of the season. Okay,
focusing lastly on today's game, you've got a brand of rugby that we all love, but what do you need to get right against Gloucester-Hartpury to beat them today?
We have to earn the right to go wide. Really, really important. And I know it's a cliche, but we do. So we have to dominate the collisions that we have and gain the momentum, and we have to control the relationship between tempo and momentum, and we've been working really hard on that. So hopefully you'll see evidence of that.
Excellent. All the best today, Giselle.
Thank you very much. Happy Christmas.
Sean Lynn, great to see you. Look, it's been an opening half of the season of ups and downs, and I get the feeling that we haven't seen the best of Gloucester-Hartpury just yet. Are you feeling that you're getting to that point?
Yeah, you're right there, and we've been in fits and starts regarding a good 15 minutes, good 20 minutes, and that's what we're looking at today. We know how good Wasps can be, so we have to be on our game for the whole 70 minutes.
You're yet to beat a team higher than you in the league. Wasps represents an excellent opportunity. Is that something that's in the mind of you and the players today?
It's something which we are aware of that, yes, and we know how good Wasps can be, but making sure we come away from home and get a win is huge.
And speaking specifically about the opposition today, they've got a very exciting brand of rugby. How are you looking to stymie that and also imprint your own brand on the game today?
Yeah, they have got very good individuals and trying to stop someone like Ellie Kilden, who's a very good talent. It's just about making sure we get a good kick chase, and also us. It's all about us then. I'll keep in ball and making sure that Wasps have to defend us.
Well, yeah, speaking about you, to close on you, you've had some players who've really stepped up, none more so than Ciara Pinnock in the absence of two key players for you. Are you impressed with how the team is developing as a whole, the squad is developing?
Yeah, definitely, and you look at Ciara, she's been outstanding for us. She's taken the reins on, calling the line-outs, but also Gwen Crabb, who's been there with her as well. You can't fault the 2 second rows, so she'll be a good counter today.
Well, here we are. Do you know what? When we recorded those interviews earlier, it was breezy, it was brisk, but there was sun in the skies. The weather, I can tell you, has changed, and the skies have some menace in them as the clouds are full of lead. But let's meet the teams because they are beginning to emerge. Wasps have been in the mood for a month now. Wins over Exeter, Loughborough and Sale mean they're looking to make it 4 wins in a row if they can claim Gloucester-Hartpury scalp today. Ellie Kildunn's try-scoring showreel is growing by the game with 5 in 5 AP 15 appearances. She is the arrowhead of a tasty back three who will be provided for by Amy Wilson-Hardy and Kate Alder in the centres, who makes her 50th Allianz Premiership appearance. For all the flair of Wasps, Gloucester-Hartpury's backline is littered with international class. Daisy Fahy is the only uncapped player, but she's been recognised by England throughout the age groups, and her form of late suggests full honours are just a matter of time. You heard it there from Sean Lynn. In the absence of Zoe Allcroft and Sarah Bonner, Ciara Pinnock has stepped up. Another star on the rise is Georgia Brock. She'll be the bandit at the breakdown in red. So Wasps in their traditional black and yellow garb to our left. Gloucester-Hartpury in the iconic cherry and white. Anthony Woodthorpe on the whistle and Meg Jones to kick us off. And straight out on the full. Not often you see an error like that from Meg Jones, Bert.
Not often at all. She'll be disappointed with that start of the game, but I'm sure that scrum time now will see the good battle between the front rows at this moment in time. We've got Elizabeth Crake, who has just moved to prop this season. We've got Cliodhna Moloney, who is in there as well, Ireland international, and Maud Muir as well, coming up against a 3 Wales front three.
So first scrum down of the game, the ball in Mo Hunt's hands. They missed her desperately during her COVID-enforced absence, and she's not just brought that talent that we've seen over the years, but that leadership back to the base of the scrum. The hook not perfect from Gloucester-Hartpury, and a penalty first up. Big celebrations. Rowena Burnfield back slapping, and a chance for Meg Jones to put things right from the centre line immediately. Finds a modest touch. I mentioned the weather conditions and those leaden clouds in the background. Well, there's a hell of a breeze here as well. One of the gazebos pitch side actually went airborne just before kickoff, but they managed to weigh it down with some extra weights from the gym. Big weights at that as well. Bigger than I could lift. Wasps clean ball from the top. And they attack through the centres. Wilson-Hardy carries. She's breaking free.
dragged down, 10 metres short. They go hands again to the right. Halted in their tracks by the Gloucester defence. Claudia MacDonald bossing the breakdown before a wedge of Wasps jerseys fly into the Gloucester-Hartpury jerseys. There's room out to the left and numbers, but they take it narrower, just to the left of the post. Can they get it down? Anthony Woodthorpe says it's not quite there yet. They go short again, rumble over, and the referee's hand is aloft. It's an opening try for Wasps and a dream start for the West Londoners.
Yeah, look at that. Straight off of a penalty, one at the scrum. A great break from Amy Wilson-Hardy there, breaking through the middle. And we just kept it really calm in the forward, driving it through. Looks like Maud Muir's gone over the line there. What a great start for Wasps.
Well, after a less than auspicious kick-off straight into touch, Wasps have well and truly responded. The England under-20 Maud Muir getting across for her 5th Premier 15s try. Quite a nice return in her 21 appearances in this league. And up to Jones to add the extras. And she does just that, as she's been doing all season. The league's top scorer makes it a perfect 7-pointer. And it's Wasps leading Gloucester-Hartpury 7-0 with not 4 minutes on the clock.
It's not changing. I'm not seeing anything.
Gloucester-Hartpury goes short. Bit of a skewed kick, if I'm being honest, here up close by our commentary position. Wasps recover it, and Claudia MacDonald calls in the troops to give her adequate protection before sending it high into those leaden skies. Doesn't get much distance. It comes off a Hartpury hand into touch. They win the line out. Not a perfect kick from MacDonald, but Wasps will be happy to have possession here.
Yeah, very happy with that. As we come to the line out here now, we're missing Harriet Miller-Mills at the moment, so we've got Rowena Burnfield commanding the line out with Sadia Kabea and with
well, it hasn't gone to plan. Gloucester-Hartpury recover, and it's their first possession of the game in the hands of Mo Hunt. They surge through the middle. Spread it to the right. Good hands, quick hands. They find some room down the right flank. They're in to Wasps' half now, healthily into their half. They continue. Offloaded to the wing. They carry through the forwards in the hands of Pinnock. A lot of variation to the Gloucester attack at the moment. Claky George, really the maestro, but the ball goes loose in the midfield. Wasps have a chance to counter. Play developing down the left flank. Happy to keep it tight before going out the back to Jones, who puts it on the toe into a fearsome wind, like really struggling to penetrate that gust that's going into her face, but she does in fact get too much on it, and it's gone straight out, and a perfect platform for Gloucester-Hartpury to attack from. It's been quite scrappy to start, hasn't it?
Yeah, a bit scrappy so far, but you can see there the phases that Gloucester can put together, being led from the front by Mo Hunt, charging her forwards around, putting them in certain positions, and then the speed of the breakdown. She's taking her time, she's making sure that she's got everybody set, and we can see how dangerous the Gloucester attack look with all their diverse different plays off of open play. So it'll be really exciting to see what they do off of this line out, commanded by Ciara Cooney.
Gloucester's first throw of the match. They go to the front, overthrow, Wasps claim it, but quick as you like on that breakdown ball. Who was it? Was that Mo Hunt there?
It was Mo Hunt over that ball there.
Well, Mo Hunt showing a range of skills in this opening 7 minutes. Perfect form over the ball, nice, strong wide base, clamped down on the ball, and the referee quick to blow. Really didn't give much opportunity for anyone to come and attempt to clear Hunt out. And Hartpury get a second bite at the line-out cherry within a minute, really. And this time even closer, deep into the Wasps 22. And if they can get some clean ball, which they can't, I was going to say we'll get to see some more structured play from their dazzling backs, but knocked on. It's a free kick. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the adapted rules that have been implemented for the Premier 15s this season. A tap and Burnfield to carry. Just her 8th game in a Wasps jersey, but rest assured she's got plenty of experience with over 150 appearances for Richmond. I'm not sure that she ever missed a Premier 15s game in her time for the red, black and gold, but she's certainly enjoying her rugby here in Acton as Wasps build another attack. Jones shows, goes, finds the gap on the arc. She's got support on the right. Dummies instead. Kildunn's on her shoulder. Nobody stops Kildunn from here. Oh, but they've been dragged down. Amazing defence from Gloucester. More support from Wasps coming in the shape of Molloy. Again, we see that wedge of black and amber jerseys forming just one out from Claudia MacDonald, but they knock on and Gloucester with the advantage.
Yeah, what an amazing run there by Meg Jones, linking up with Ellie Kildunn. And as we've seen there, as I said in the pre-match, Hannah Jones there coming across to make that cover tackle. What an amazing cover there to be able to keep the Wasps out before they penetrate the line yet again. But no, now we see Mo Hunt commanding their forwards to clear.
And a good exit from Hartpury. Well, I was made to eat my words there because the form she's been in, and to be honest, the form she's been in all her life. Ellie Kildunn, once she gets the ball, once she gets clear, she's usually gone. But extraordinary cover defence from Gloucester-Hartpury.
Yeah, as we've seen throughout the season at the moment, as soon as Ellie gets hands on the ball, she's usually gone and she's usually away, stepping around the fullback. But as we see there, Hannah Jones coming in to make that cover tackle. It'll be a really, really interesting matchup between the Wasp back line and the Gloucester back line as well with all of that.
Well, in order for either of those back lines to shine, we need to see some solid set piece. We had a penalty from the first scrum of the game, and then that's the fourth line out to go awry now. 2 apiece from either side, no one coming away off their own ball. Not straight the call on this occasion. You are allowed to opt for the scrum. Doesn't have to be a line out or a free kick. Gloucester have done just that.
With the new rules of the game, most packs, especially the front 3, they want to be able to show themselves at the moment. Any option that they get to be able to have a scrum, they will go for that straight away. And I think it's really exciting that even in these little moments of the game where our front 3s of both the attack and defence, they get to show what they're the best at in the AP 15s, that is scrummaging. And it is, with all the COVID regulations, it is a shame that we can't scrummage as much, but when people get these opportunities, they want to take them, they want to put their dominance and mark on the game.
Well, speaking of dominance, Gloucester in fine fettle, they're moving forward, but Wasps eventually resist, and the ball comes out. It's in the backfield of Wasps and in the hands of Kildunn, who chips. She sees some space. It's messy, but Red hands get a hold of it. Mo Hunt, in fact, who offloads. Here we go, Gloucester. They surge down the left-hand side. Some more continuity demanded from both sides. Struggling to put the phases together, and one of the reasons is nefarious activity from Wasps there. A penalty for Gloucester-Hartpury. I think that Claky George will just knock this into the corner and continue to put faith into her scrum. Her line out, I beg your pardon. Third attempt at throwing in from Gloucester. 2 overthrows. Bit of pressure on Kelsey Jones's shoulders here, the Welsh international. Receives the call from Cara Hope. Rowena Burnfield up like one of the tower blocks we see in the background of our shot. Very, very early. That's huge pressure to be putting on Kelsey Jones. Referee not happy. Can I get the ref mic, please? Finally, one goes to hand. They break away early. It's a short run from Tatiana Hurd. But holding on at the breakdown, really no pattern developing, so many infringements. It's a very, very cagey start from both sides.
Yeah, it is. You can see loads of people going at the breakdown, turn over the ball. As you see there, number 8, Claire Molloy over the ball there. That is what she does all day, every day for when she plays for Ireland, is there turning over the ball and trying to relieve some pressure off of the Wasps line at the moment. So it's great to see that we've got a line out here, what we see we can develop out of getting out of our own 22 here.
Pressure on this Wasp throw for the Irish international. Plenty of movement in the line and working successfully as they bust through the midfield once again. It's patient stuff, it's considered stuff. Claudia McDonald goes to the boot.
Okay.
Again, that swirling wind, not giving her much purchase on the box kick. Fabulous counter ruck here from Wasps. They've really disrupted Gloucester-Hartpury, but they've managed to keep a hold of possession and they drive forward before sending it wide. It's a loose ball. Who's going to get their hands on it first? Gloucester just about recover, but Wasps have won it at the breakdown. A nice tip on before offloading. Better from Wasps. McDonald changes direction. Nice footwork. Amy Wilson-Hardy follows it up with a leg drive to eke out those extra couple of metres before the Wasps runner is deleted close to the breakdown. Fantastic defence from Gloucester-Hartpury at the moment. Wasps are throwing everything at them. But Gloucester are a match, although Wasps have breached the halfway line. They're into Gloucester-Hartpury territory. Yard by yard. They're making progress. But a turnover from Kelsey Jones. Nice wide base again, strong over the ball. Great defence from Gloucester-Hartpury.
Such great defence there. You can see how patient that the Gloucester-Hartpury have been at the moment. They're sometimes icing some breakdowns, going into some breakdowns, trying to slow the ball down. But you see there from Kelsey Jones getting over the ball, taking her time, picked the right time to go over the ball, right battle as well, and she's won it there for them.
A handling error from Wasps on the left flank. As you're talking us through that breakdown penalty, cedes possession back to Gloucester-Hartpury. Good position as well. That's one thing that we're seeing is teams adapting to the free kick strategy. We see here, it looks like a setup, a wraparound on Hunt before a dummy through the gap from Hartpury. They're on the rampage now. Shona Powell-Hughes dragged down 7 short before more counter-rucking from Wasps, but illegal counter-rucking. The penalty count ramping up as the minutes tick away.
Yeah, another penalty there. We talk about at Wasps the penalties being another form of set piece at the moment. So as you can see there from Gloucester, setting up their set piece off of that free kick and showing us what they can do from going with the forwards handling, then through to the backs, breaking through there. That is what we like to see at the moment, and that's what a lot of teams have adapted their free kick plays to.
Well, from that free kick, the wraparound from Hunt and the dummy from George before finding a bullocking Shona Powell-Hughes on her shoulder to steam through the middle to set up this penalty, for which Claky George just slots through the middle, didn't even look up. Just, that's part of the process, I'm sure, but it looks very, very nonchalant, very arrogant way of putting a ball through the post. I like it, I have to say. And so did Gloucester-Hartpury, because that's their first points of the game. However, they still trail Wasps 7 points to 3. A good passage for Gloucester-Hartpury. And this time, the ball handed to Ellie Kildown to take the kickoff. She sends it long into that Hartpury backfield, where it's returned with interest. A clattering collision from a good Wasp chase. Again, Gloucester-Hartpury find the gap. Huge clear out from Wasps.
Sadia Kabea there just trying to stop some of Gloucester's momentum. There we have a charge down, she's hit it down. Stop some of the momentum that Mo Hunt had to be getting into the other half.
And here we go, Wasps streaking down the left wing in the hands of Abby Dow. She loves to score against Gloucester-Hartpury, and she has done it once again here at Twyford Avenue. A try all from the pressure on the kick of Claky George. They found Jones in the backfield, who unleashed Abby Dow, who had too many wheels for anybody to even get a fingerprint on. Terrific opportunistic try, but all from the pressure they put on the 10, on the kick, in the Gloucester-Hartpury 22.
That's massive there from Wasps. Sadia Kabea hitting Mo Hunt off the ball, just slowing the ball down at 9 and then getting back up, then putting pressure on Claky George to get the pressure on the kick. As Burnsy said there, Abby Dow loves scoring tries, and that's what she loves to do. So really good to see her over the whitewash there.
A fine looking kick and a lovely sounding strike, but not enough to get it through the uprights. So Wasps will have to settle for a 5, but they'll certainly be happy with a 9-point lead going into the first water break of the game. Remember, these happening every 20 minutes within the halves. Has this water break turned out to be a good tactical point within games, Berts?
Yeah, it's really beneficial for us at the moment. I think that with the rule changes and everything like that, that these water breaks are needed just because of the high tempo of the game, but it just means that everyone can regather and regroup, especially if you're losing potentially at the first water break. It gives everybody a time to just chill out and be able to talk about potentially things that are going well, potentially things that they can improve on, what's going on at set piece, if it's been successful or not. And it's a really, really good opportunity to get messages also fed in from the coaches that you don't usually get fed in within the first quarter of a half.
But there are ever times where you're rolling your eyes and you're groaning because it's coming at a time when you're in the ascendancy, you're fluid, you've got momentum, and it gives the opposition a bit of respite that you wouldn't like to give them.
Yeah, to be fair, sometimes when I'm on the pitch, I'm like, oh, I just wish that we could carry on playing. But usually, with the less breaks and scrummaging at the moment, with the lack of scrums, it usually does mean that you're blowing at that moment in time. And it usually means that you do need that water break. So there's benefits and negatives to it, but I think the benefits definitely outweigh the opposing side at the moment, just because it just gets your team ready to regroup again, to even just go over what is going well if you are winning.
Well, positive message will have been the ones in that Wasps huddle, and the respite I mentioned would have been welcomed by Gloucester-Hartpury, because they're the ones who trail 12-3 here at Twyford Avenue. They kick off through Claky George, and Wasps return with a spring in their step. McDonald shapes familiarly, but misfires once again. Her box kicking not quite at the standard that we usually expect and see from McDonald. Straight out on the full, and immediately giving possession, giving opportunity back to Gloucester-Hartpury. They go long to the back.
Early jump for second time now.
But what's penalised for an early jump? Rowena Burnfield,
early jump. Second
the
time.
one they're sending up at the
second
front. It's clearly a tactic, as it's not the first time we've seen her leap like a salmon a little prematurely in an effort to put the pressure on Kelsey Jones. Another tap penalty. Hunt wraps around as she does before. It's almost a carbon copy, other than Pal Hughes can't keep a hold of it this time. And Wasps, they go down that favourite left flank of theirs.
Free kick over here. Free kick, no advantage.
But it doesn't come off for them.
No advantage.
But it was advantage. A comeback for a free kick in the hands of McDonald. She looks pretty happy to take the sting out of things for the time being as she saunters over to the referee's mark. Rowena Burnfield, though, she's ready. She loves the contact. And there she goes, up to the 10-metre line. Wasps go out the back. Short ball through the middle. Great line from the Wasps. The offload's there to the 14. Caris Williams, who drives to the 22. Wasps again probe further left, clocking round. Burnfield, who started it all from the tap. Now Jones, dummy, has a run through, a hint of crossing before finding Dowell, who shells the pass, knowing the way that she's been finishing. That could have been for Wasps' third try.
Look at the defence there from Gloucester. They contained everything that Wasps was throwing at them. The forwards punching through, the backs movement through the hands to Abby Dow, and you just see how well that Gloucester can contain that at the moment. The defence is looking impenetrable.
Well, it's a missed touch, but there's plenty of purchase on that kick, sending Wasps back into their 22. I can't overstate how punishing this wind is on Wasps. I mean, I think that we might lose our gazebo. In fact, one of them has gone. The one that I mentioned before the game, that's being dealt with by the side of the field, as Wasps are forced to carry their way out of their half. But they're doing it well. Meg Jones goes through the gap, just as she's done 2 or 3 times already this half. But the timing, slightly imprecise. The referee calls back for crossing. It's a penalty on the 10-metre line, centre of the field. Jones really does love to carry flat to the line and tempt the defence out. Gloucester-Hartpury coming up aggressively as a crescent almost, and as soon as she sees that 12 go, she's darting through that gap.
Yeah, that's classic Megan Jones there. You usually see a lot of that in the sevens, which Meg has just come from playing at the last season. The cross in, sometimes if the player isn't hit, the referees allow it, but in this case they haven't allowed it on this one, so we'll see Gloucester close the gap here, potentially through Claky George.
Claky George, a tougher kick than her first, from in front of the posts, but a good few more yards back, with a chance to take Gloucester-Hartpury to 6. Doesn't catch it cleanly this time, missing to the left of the upright and underneath the crossbar.
Make sure they're clearly on, please.
And Wasps with a 22 drop. Cliodhna with her hands on the ball. Are you surprised to not see Meg Jones taking dropouts and restarts?
Yeah, I am surprised, but Cliodhna is more than capable to step up to the plate of kickoffs. She does it in training. It changes between her, Megan and Flo Williams, who's also on the bench. So it's nice to see her stepping up as well to be able to take those kicks, and she's doing them successfully so far.
Well, it's a good strike to take it up just shy of the Gloucester-Hartpury halfway line. They're in possession, and they're the ones making inroads. Some sloppy work, some lazy roll-away work from Wasps. Probably married with a bit of cute play from Mo Hunt as well there. I can see you grinning at the penalty being given there.
That's classic Mo Hunt there. That's classic Mo Hunt there, making sure that she's getting that penalty. No matter if the tackler is rolling away, eventually she wants to get that penalty, and she's always speaking to the refs. That shows the experience that she's got there. You hear there from the referee, clearly outside the 22, meaning that they can't build a driving maul, which I'm sure they wouldn't mind doing. A devastating pack, a well-drilled pack. They go short at the front, but not straight. The line-outs really being a troublesome feature for Gloucester-Hartpury at the moment, which is at odds with how they performed throughout the season. We were talking to Sean Lynn before the game, and you were complimenting him on how efficient their line-outs have been. Yeah, this season so far, it's the best that I've seen Gloucester's line-outs. With all that movement, they're really putting pressure on the opposition. We see a few times that Rowena Burnfield has jumped early. That's because of there's so much dynamic movement in the Gloucester line-out. So it's a shame to see so far that it's not going exactly how they planned, but I'm sure that they'll be communicating with each other and making sure that they can get it fixed ASAP.
Well, the scrum looking good for both sides. McDonald gets it away to Jones, who sells the dummy before finding another runner. And Wasps breaking tackles. They really are finding the gaps with probably too much ease for Sean Lynn's taste in those narrow channels, around 10, around 12, around 13. And Jones, the maestro, conducting her orchestra of Wasps around the park. She's involved in the breakdown, so it's more direct this time. An extra roll from Wasps takes them just shy of the 10-metre line. And then a carry in the midfield. McDonald digs it out. Wasps again probing for the space on the left flank. Cliodhna, show, go, drag down. They continue to target that flank. As we see an injured party in the midfield, but Wasps are taking it narrow. There's huge gaps in between the 10 and the breakdown at the moment that they're exploiting. Good hands, good variation. Jones again scything. Great offload. Finds Williams, he steps inside, and that is Wasps' third try of the afternoon. And a full team effort, forwards and backs working in perfect harmony, with Caris Williams, the one to dot it down.
Can just see how instrumental Meg Jones and Claudia McDonald are being there. Claudia setting the pace of the game. She can see as gaps start to open up, she's going quicker. And then also the link play between the forwards and the backs at the moment is absolutely vital. You can see there Elizabeth Crake giving the ball to Meg Jones, which allowed the Wasps backs to be able to go out wide and for Caris Williams to be able to dot that down there.
Well, the Gloucester-Hartpury team would have been put on red alert as to how devastating the Wasps back three can be. Kildunn's been the one grabbing the headlines, but it's Williams and Dow who've done the damage today so far. And Meg Jones inflicts just a little bit more. 2 more points added to her tally as the top scorer in the Premier 15s. And a hearty 16-point lead with 7 minutes to go until half-time for Wasps here at Twyford Avenue.
Kick-off there from Katy George. Just gone 10 in the hands of Rowena Burnfield, taking us forward.
Yes, Wasps taking these kick-offs well, and it's formulaic in the way that they exit. They have been going through Claudia McDonald's boot, but they probably haven't succeeded quite as much as they would have hoped. They go a bit longer on this occasion by passing back to a kicker in the pocket. But Gloucester-Hartpury have returned well. Initially through Katy George there in the midfield, and Mo Hunt beginning to boss things, beginning to organise the moving parts of the attack at her disposal. George switches the play to find the left corner undefended by the Wasps back three. Meg Jones was there, but the ball trickles away from her into touch. A wonderful territorial kick and some defensive line-out pressure for Wasps to deal with here.
You'll have time to change, don't worry. Number 3, 5.
5 minutes remaining of this first half. Wasps really the dominant side. I mean, we have spent enough time down in Wasps' half. Gloucester-Hartpury have had possession, but it's been a case of who's been most clinical. And on this occasion, it's not Wasps from the line out. This is a chance for Gloucester-Hartpury. They eke out a couple metres more. They draw closer to the line, carrying in numbers through the midfield. Just to the left of the Wasps upright. Again, a 3-woman cherry and white wedge attempts to blast its way through 4 metres. They go right through the hands of Tatiana Hurd. Steps right, steps back in. Have they created space? No, they haven't. The Wasps defence is rampant at the moment. But Gloucester-Hartpury patient. Hunt to George. Further back to Fahy joining the line.
Use the line.
It was a bit high. She landed and didn't have the time she would have liked to step. A hint of afters from Hannah Jones there. Obviously something happening down on the floor, but the play's being brought back.
Not rolling.
A penalty in front of the uprights being declined. Hunt wants a try.
Tackle off!
Into the hands of Cerys Hale. More big runners gathering momentum. They're so close. A metre shy. Gloucester surging once again, tackled into the post. And they finally breached the Wasps defence. Protestations from black and yellow jerseys.
Not on the bottom of the post.
The Wasps players claiming that the grounding has been on the post, which of course there's been a law change that's come in this season. But the referee clearly stating, Anthony Woodthorpe, that he saw the grounding on the line before the ball slid across to the bottom of the post. We see there, but they just managed to attack far enough away from the post that when the tackle came in, while it drove them towards it, they still had that momentum to get across the line and smuggle the ball down.
Yeah, really smart play there from Gloucester, looking to keep it tight within the forwards. Mo Hunt commanding where she wants them to be, and just proving before the half-time that they can be a dominant force. And it'll be really, really exciting going into this second half, what Gloucester come out to bring just by closing the deficit there. It means they're on a roll now.
A timely time to be crossing the line here in West London for Gloucester-Hartpury. A hard-fought half that's seen 3 tries from Wasps, from their flyers, Dow and Williams, but it was Maud Muir who kicked it all off for them before that try right at the death has meant that it is Wasps who lead by just 9 now, 19-10 over Gloucester-Hartpury. Let's relive some of those tries from the first half, and it's Maud Muir's efforts within moments of kicking off that got Wasps on their way here, Bert.
Yeah, as you can see here, just the patience here from the Wasps forwards, allowing them to get in the correct position, latch on from Kate Alder and Cliodhna Moloney there, number 2, and number 3 there, making sure that they can get over the line, pushing Maud over. Classic forward try, forward Wasps try there. But as you see there, Kate Alder isn't shy to get involved in some of the forwards work.
Yes. Well, now that there's no opportunity for backs to come and join rolling maws, backs have got to find their own way of trying to steal some of the glory when the forwards do all the hard work. But there was no forward involved here. This was pure gas from Abby Dow on her 50th Wasps appearance.
Yeah, we look at the 2 England internationals there. Abby Dow going up against Kelly Smith there. Abby Dow flies past her without a finger on her, which just shows how much pace Abby Dow has got. And she's been doing it all season so far, scoring tries. But you can see there the efforts from Kelly Smith trying to get across, but unfortunately just can't get there in time.
Abby Dow looked destined for the line the second she got the ball in her hands. Laser focus, striding, gliding with purpose. She's approaching nearly 250 points for Wasps, and this was probably the pick of the bunch. While we all admire and appreciated Abby Dow's speed, this interplay between backs and forwards, rounded off by Cerys Williams, really was a peach.
Yeah, really good there to see the integration with Elizabeth Crake there, passing the ball on to Meg Jones. But if you keep watching Elizabeth Crake's line there, she allowed to come on the outside of Cerys, making sure that she can just put the fullback in 2 minds, and that just allows Cerys to be able to step off her outside foot and go under the post there. Just a classic showing how well Wasps are working between their forwards and backs play at this moment in time.
Selfless work from Liz Crake to create that 2-on-1 to make the dummy in step oh so easy for Williams. And this is how we ended the half, and it was a much needed score for Gloucester-Hartpury because they were staring down the barrel of a 16-point deficit going into the half time. But patient, powerful forward play just squirming across the line before the post came into play.
Yeah, we've seen some really dominant play from Gloucester at the moment. Moving into all their possession has been in the Wasps 22, but they've just not been able to capitalise on it at the moment with a few missed line-out throws, a few missed lifts. It's just meant that they haven't been able to capitalise on them at the moment. But as we see there, finally, Mo Hunt being able to command her forward over the line there, which meant that they've closed the deficit into the next half, which I'm really excited to see how Gloucester come out and how Wasps come out as well going into the second half, and how either Gloucester can close the deficit or how Wasps can keep pushing on.
Plenty of play and intrigue to come in the second 40 minutes. And we've got a number of England internationals, number of Wales internationals, Irish internationals on the field of play today. But there's one international who's been grabbing the headlines this week. A legend of the game has retired.
Hunt. Mclean. Here's Ciara. On a much flatter ball. Emily Scarrett. Emily Scarrett is going to go all the way.
I remember standing at the back of the line, obviously in the stadium, and just literally having a moment to be like, we've done it. Like, how many interviews I must have done, and the girls have done about always being bridesmaids and never brides, and about, well, you know, this is an opportunity and how many opportunities England had missed, and all the bits that make great stories but are pretty painful to chat about in the build-up to something. And just like, that's it. Nobody's going to have to do that interview for a long time where they're like, oh, how has it been a bridesmaid? Because actually now, like, we were the bride, and just appreciating that, not just for us as a squad, but for staff, the likes of Nikki P, who've been in this programme, been in charge of this programme for such a long time. Just thinking, like, oh, thank God for that. We've done it. We get to be world champions for 3 years, as it turned out. Oh yeah, for me, my 100th cap couldn't have gone any better. You know, my 50th had been a disaster and I'd got far too over-aroused for it and I'd been absolutely rubbish. So that was a little bit in the back of my mind, and I think you don't want to think about it because it is such a big thing, you know, the opportunity to play 100 times for your country, but you get to like 97, 98, 99 and you know it's there, but you're like, anything could happen. We play such a sport where who knows what's going to happen in the next game. So actually kind of getting to run out my 100, it was pretty wet, but I had everybody, like my mum and dad were there, my little sis, my wife was there, her family, like everybody who was special to me was there at that point. My niece, obviously, Katy, got to come out and be mascot. And then obviously Skaz and Mo give me man the match. So it was literally, what more could a girl need? Oh, and I got a try for 90 metres, don't forget that as well.
Loose pass has been latched onto by Daly Mclean. Katy Daly Mclean's away. She's over the 22. She's got the try line inside and she'll get there. What a way for Katy Daly Mclean to celebrate her 100th Test match for England.
It's great to see the young girls coming through and enjoying it and having the opportunities to do it in big stadiums, live on BBC Two. Like, we did it in front of our friends and family at like a rugby club with 150 people. And I just think that as well, I love that. I love where the games come. I love like how seriously it's taken and the commitment people have put to really kind of getting on board with women's rugby. For me, that's just as much of a highlight as anything we do on the pitch as well.
I'll tell you what, when you're forgetting that you scored a 90-metre try, I think that's a pretty good indication that you're all right at rugby. I mean, 116 caps, a World Cup winner in 2014, 8 Six Nations Grand Slams, and just been named 10 in World Rugby's Team of the Decade. Rugby, she's completed it.
Yeah, Katy Mclean, what an absolute legend of the game. She's literally changed the face of women's rugby, and a youngster going through the system, me growing up watching Katy, she's an absolute inspiration to the whole of women's rugby. And like, for me, on behalf of all of women's rugby, we just want to say a massive thank you for everything that you have done for the game. And I wish you the very best in retirement, and hopefully it treats you really well, and hopefully that we'll be back seeing you watching us at some of the international games, but also with your role now at Sale, inspiring and helping the next generation grow there as well. Yeah,
so a fabulous international career, but her work isn't finished at Sale, that's for sure. Speaking of Sale and the other teams in the league, we've got some highlights of the action from last week. Some of the try-lights from round 8 there, and 19-10 here. We've had 4 tries, but you know, the rugby community is all as one, and the RFU are fighting to keep games on, and we all need to pitch in to make that happen.
We all miss rugby.
Training, playing,
Supporting.
This pandemic might have paused the game,
But it hasn't taken away our spirit.
Throughout the lockdown, we have found new ways to come together and help each other.
We have turned our clubhouse into a food hub.
Teamwork comes natural to us.
respect is in our blood.
Just a big thank you for all that you're doing. Saving lives day in, day out.
We know how to have a laugh.
And cry.
We dig in when it gets tough.
Anything happens, good, bad, ugly, anything, we're into the next thing. We're throwing all of ourselves into the next thing.
And leave it all on the pitch.
This is our strength, and it will be the secret to rebuilding our wonderful sport.
It has been a hell of a 2020. It's been a tough one for all of us, but we've been in the trenches together, and with the rugby community pitching in, by and large, we'll all be coming out of it together, largely unscathed. The teams are out on the field. You just saw a glimpse of the replacements there. You can expect plenty of impact from them, but who are the names that we should be keeping our eyes out for when it comes to the replacements, when it comes to the finishers, the energisers, the players to get either side across that winning line?
Yeah, speaking to Sean Lynn at the start of the game, Bryony King coming off the bench, 17 years old, just been brought into Wales camp recently. She will look like a force coming on the pitch, and hopefully can ramp up what is right now losing Gloucester's side. However, that we have her coming off the bench, and also Bianca Blackburn as well coming on to replace Mo. Bianca is also one of the England internationals in previous years, and she can also command a game very well. We'll see her coming on the pitch, bringing that excitement and that energy. But on the Wasps side, we have Celia Quansah coming off of the bench there. Celia with caps for England Sevens, coming on, showing her pace and her being dynamic on the pitch, and also as well with Sarah Mitchelson coming on the pitch as well. She brings that experience that the Wasps game need with such young players in the forward pack as well. So she brings such an array of experience and knowledge to the team.
Well, they're the players to come, but these are the women on the field as we speak. And it's Abby Dow taking it into contact and winning a penalty for Wasps. The left wing flyer who helped herself to a try, and in the process took her to 243 career Wasps points. So knocking on the door of 250. She'll need just slightly more than one try to get there. She'll need two. So Hartpury will be looking to deny her a hat-trick and the opportunity to make it 250 points in a Wasps jersey. But they'll have to do so by defending a Wasps driving maul here in their own 22, and it's well formed and it's moving through the gears. Gloucester-Hartpury beginning to splinter. That's one stop, calls the referee. Claudia McDonald's lurking with intent. A breakaway from Wasps. They grapple across the line, manoeuvre themselves. Can the referee see a grounding?
Listen, oi. Enough. I haven't got a grounding, okay, and I've only got the ball up. It's a Wasp scrum.
He's being roundly hounded by Wasp, imploring, begging for the try. The bonus point try that would be, but held up from the referee. We saw that. It looked like they managed to manipulate their way across the line, but potentially Rowena Burnfield, was she underneath the ball because of the way that they fell together? They were moving as a two-woman wrecking ball, and then manoeuvred themselves around with Rowena Burnfield underneath.
Yeah, you can see there that Rowena Burnfield might have just got underneath Sadia Kavea there, which just inhibited the try being given. But however, we do have a 5 metre scrum there. Wasps going to look to penalise, but then Gloucester-Hartpury will look to disrupt this, as they have been doing all game, putting pressure on the front row. That pack of Wales internationals, as I've said before, they're going to look to be able to splinter through the scrum.
Well, we've seen plenty of McDonald in defence, in distribution, but we all know that she loves a snipe. But she distributes to Meg Jones, who finds an on-rushing Wasp on her shoulder. Looked like Wilson Hardy. They recycle quickly in the hands of Williams, the first half try scorer. Held up again, stoic defence from the Cherry and Whites. They're in siege mode at the moment as Wasps rain down upon them from left, right, centre, everywhere. But they keep the London side at bay once again, and it's another scrum, this time from the right side of the field.
Gloucester's defence, as they've come out from half-time, has been pretty much impenetrable at the moment. Their scramble defence, working round, making sure they're holding the Wasp player up, has been outstanding so far. And it's just great to see that they're not going down without a fight. They're putting everything in there. They're putting their bodies on the line. So it'll be interesting now to see this scrum, to see if Wasps can capitalise on this.
So the Wasp setup, Jones directly behind the scrum, option to go left or right. McDonald with the ball in her hands. It's now with Jones. Hardy runs the decoy. Ellie Cliodhna, she cannot stop scoring. It's 6-6, and Wasps have the bonus point.
That's outstanding there from Wasps. We see the scrum has been set. The forwards are fighting to keep the scrum stable for the backs. You see there, Claudia just taking the ball out, distribution across to Megan Jones, and you see Amy Wilson-Hardy and Ellie Kildunn running at the line with intent and with pace. And you can just see there the fade on the pass from Megan Jones just put Ellie Kildunn straight through that hole.
Yeah, just send her on. Just send her on, make sure someone comes off.
I think that's what they call straight from the training ground, Abby.
Exactly, exactly. Practicing that all day, every week from Twyford Avenue.
Megan Jones surely will add the extras here. Just one blemish on her kicking record so far this afternoon. Straight and true, doesn't get much easier than that for Jones. And that is a great time to score. Straight after the half time, they reinstate their 16-point margin. And Gloucester-Hartpury are under the pump with minutes ticking away of this second half. But they're not done and dusted yet, that's for sure. George kicks us off and she goes long to pin Wasps back in their 22. Well, in theory, but that is an excellent carry back.
Use it.
Here we'll see McDonald with the win behind her this time, and that is much better, isn't it? Claudia likes that prevailing wind, taking us all the way up to the Gloucester-Hartpury 22, but they fashion an exit themselves, which bounces in play, then wickedly to the left and out. That's a very good return from Gloucester-Hartpury, but it's a Wasps line out.
We saw in the first half that Wasps struggled kicking into the wind, but Claykie George there just puts her head down and bashed it through right into the Wasps half. Really, really impressive kick from her there.
So with the bonus points secured, what sort of state of mind will your teammates be in at the moment?
I think it's just looking to keep building on what we're doing and keeping calm with it. I think we've been really, really clinical at the moment with, especially in attack with our set plays, especially off the free kicks, and then also with open play as well. Getting that link between the backs and the forwards, which at the start of the season that we were lacking. So we'll be looking to build on that, and we won't want to let Gloucester into our half or over the try line. So it's just keeping them out for as long as possible and doing the best that we can with that.
Well, George dictating play from 10 very, very confidently, using Tatiana Hurd as a second distributor. That pass slightly behind from Hunt puts Gloucester-Hartpury on the back foot, but big, strong leg drive from Tatiana Hurd to give Gloucester-Hartpury back that momentum. But another penalty, the penalty count at the breakdown, has been killing them so far today. After Hurd had done so well to battle her way forward, pumping with black jerseys hanging from her. Meg Jones sends it long, just beyond the 10 of the Gloucester-Hartpury half. No urgency in forming this lineup. This is going to be problematic for Gloucester-Hartpury now that they're chasing the game, but also they're fighting with this ferocious wind that is 100% in their face. I don't think that the touch flag at the bottom of your screen really does it justice, in fact. So they'll be having to play out of their half. It'll be difficult to kick territorially.
Yeah, as we saw in the first half, Megan Jones struggled with kicking out of going into the wind, so it will be difficult for them to be able to get out of their half. But as we've already seen, Claykie George, with that one kick that she's done already in her half, she can definitely has the ability to get it down the field. So it will be exciting to see of how Gloucester can capitalise on those kicks, and if it is getting hung up by the wind, do they compete for it? Do they stay down and look to turn over the ball at the breakdown? It will be on them really of how they can dictate play with this wind.
Tatiana Hurd, the Gloucester player down at the moment. Looks to be something to do with her shoulder. She's only just returning from close to an 18-month absence from an ACL injury. The dreaded ACL, those 3 letters strike fear into any sportsman or woman, and the length of prehab, recovery, rehab, it is really a 12 to 18 month dedication to get yourself fit. She's been
just making a change.
A very, very positive influence so far in this game, but it looks like we might be seeing the last of her. Sad to see Tatiana Hurd go off injured, but it doesn't look like it's anything to do with her knee, which is good.
When you're ready.
Replacing her on the pitch, we've got Rachel Lunn coming on, and then we've also got Sian Williams coming on there in the flank as well.
That one's got forward as well.
So, reinforcements coming for Gloucester-Hartpury. I think I see number 18, Catherine Buggy, on the field as well. So, a few changes at half-time and some replacements being slid on from the far side of where we are. To knock on from Gloucester-Hartpury, Wasps with the chance to attack in the playmaker Jones's hands. Everything that Wasps done this so far today that's been good has been through her, but it's in her opposite number's hands. George. An immediate impact from Rachel Lund, who's on the shoulder. A delicious ball out to the left, picked up off the bootstraps by Powell Hughes.
You missed the ball now.
Gloucester just on the outskirts of the Wasp 22. They continue to press. Hunt to George. A dip of the shoulder and into contact. Well tackled by Wasp. Their defence is organised. George pings it along the floor, end over end. Cliodhna has a think, but she lets it dribble out. And it's Wasps' throw at the line out. It's not been assured by Wasps. It's not been assured by either of the sides today when it comes to the line time. And, you know, almost tactically, you could argue that forcing Wasps into line out in their own half, you've got as good a chance as getting it back as they have at the moment.
Yeah, that's a brilliant kick from George there. Just spotting that Abby Dow was up in the defence, just slotting it into the back. We've also just had Celia Quansah come on the pitch, replacing Caris Williams on the edge at the moment. So it'll be exciting to see what she can bring to the game with her pace and her power.
Well, Wasps make sure of it.
That's one, stop. Play away.
And they promptly use one of their rare opportunities to form a driving maul, only in the 22s.
Stripped in the air.
Wasps motor into contact, but they're stripped. This is transition ball. Can Gloucester-Hartpury make something of it? They go wide, but the defence is up fearsomely fast. That's Quansah, who's just entered the fray. Good read and a good hit. Didn't quite stick it, but it was enough. Gloucester continue to barrage forward. The Wasp player not releasing. It's a penalty advantage. Hunt will use it. George will use it. She goes for the drop goal. Catches an on-rushing head of a Wasp player.
2-0 clear release.
And we're back to the penalty. I think that was probably one of the easier penalties that referee Anthony Woodthorpe will give today.
Yeah, just seeing one of the Wasp players not rolling away. We look for George to kick to the touchline. We'll hopefully be able to see some of Gloucester's line-outs come together here and setting up their driving maul to be able to get over the line and put pressure on the Wasps' defensive line.
There's been a hint of their set-piece dominance, or certainly the dominance they're capable of in the first half. They'll be desperate to hit their mark here.
No.
But confusion reigns once again. A dummy throw, 2 jumpers up early.
Okay, no worries. No problem.
I would say Gloucester-Hartpury lucky to get away with a dummy throw really there. But they retain possession. The early jumpers seem to be the issue. But that is perfect timing. And they go blind. Oh, wonderful play. It was Bethan Lewis on the wraparound looking to find her hooker who'd stayed tight to the touchline. Paint on her boots. Yes, let's have a look at this. It was wonderful play. She got her hands beyond the defender, but the pass maybe just a bit too high, bit too fast at the head of the hooker and unable to finish it off.
Really unlucky there for Gloucester-Hartpury. We see there Shire getting up, getting clean ball down and being able to do that peel with Bethan Lewis coming back on the inside. They've definitely planned that and it's definitely come from the training field, and really unlucky to be able to not see that come off there with a brilliant play.
Free kick to Wasps. Big carry from you-know-who, Rowena Burnfield. She does the gnarly stuff so well. A fabulous acquisition from Richmond for their West London rivals.
Missed the ball. Don't play the 9.
But it's Gloucester who are attacking. Wasps doing their best to hassle Hunt, but she's unflustered as Jones carries, then has a crawl, didn't release, and a penalty to Wasps.
That's outstanding work there from our number 2, Cliodhna Moloney there. She's bitten at the first breakdown just before that, trying to put pressure on Mo Hunt, and then you see her coming in for the second breakdown and then eventually being rewarded by that penalty kick.
Cross on the line. Lovely. Line.
A clearance to touch from that penalty. Hit so pure, it nearly took out our commentary desk, but one of the Gloucester-Hartpury coaches clearly was a fullback in another life and took it rather smartly in front of our desk. So it means that we can still see this line out. Front row seats. And that's one of the best.
No, it's turnover, they can't maul. Free kick or just, it's a free kick, isn't it? Yeah. You cannot maul in the centre of the
day.
Field. It's a free kick. It's on the 15 as well.
But they forget their place. They build a maul in the centre of the field and it's a turnover.
Yeah, as you see there, we just see that Wasps have just gotten turned over because of one of the new law changes. It's one of those things that we practice so much in training that we'll be really disappointed with that error there.
I know. I apologise.
I'm sure there must be some sort of fine system established within the club for making a law breach such as that. Well, the play is loose. The ball's been fly hacked through and across the touchline, presumably off a Wasp boot.
Change. 8 Gloucester.
We're hearing a change now. Shona Powell-Hughes departing the field. Her bust through the middle in the first half from a Gloucester-Hartpury free kick, setting up their first points of the day. A kick from Claky George. And this is exciting. We're seeing Bryony King come on to replace her. Wearing 20, 17 years old, speaking with Sean Lynn before the game. He described her as a very exciting talent. Well, she's straight into the action here to try and stave off Wasps' 5th try. An overthrow.
No advantage. Free kick.
Is maybe going to be punished, but poor handling means a free kick to Gloucester-Hartpury. An escape from a poor bit of play. We see closer here. Yep, just taking her eye off the ball. Hardly looked to capitalise before being smothered, but I think she knew that was a Gloucester ball.
Being in that first pod, getting ready to take the ball on, and there's a defence looking ready to just absolutely take you out. I know how it feels sometimes to take your eye off the ball in that position. So we'll see here Claky George looking to capitalise on the error, kicking into touch here.
Well, Quansah does remarkably well to keep the ball in play. It's in the hands of Cliodhna, who's skirting across the field. 2 hands to 1 hand. Cuts inside off her left stump. Jones dictates, finds Hardy. Now in the hands of Dow, who's flying down that favourite wing of hers once again. Does so well to stay in. This is Wasps' best bit of play of the second half. Knee on the floor, tackle, they go to ground. McDonald to Jones. Another big hit in the midfield from Gloucester-Hartpury. How long can they keep Wasps out? Dow's up on the right wing now. She's everywhere.
I had a call from the AR. I'm not listening.
But obstruction once again. That is one problem that Wasps are having, that for all the times that Jones is finding that gap and she's scything through, there is a hint of obstruction, and they've been penalised a couple times now.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate there. We should have been capitalising down in the Gloucester 22, but we're just letting them off quite easily at the moment. I think that we'll be disappointed with that, with another obstruction.
George misses her touch, and Wasps are in a counter-attacking mood. Brought down just as they were moving up into fifth gear. Rowena Burnfield again does the gnarly work, the nitty-gritty on the carry to suck defenders in, to try and free up these West London Flyers. Short run from Wasp, great ball off the first receiver to Wilson Hardley. He's nearly through, but just grappled to the floor by Gwen Crabb.
Legal counter.
Counter-rucking from Gloucester-Hartpury. Causes a nuisance, but not a turnover. Jones scampering across field.
Penalty advantage.
Slippery handling. Sees the ball go to the ground, but referee deeming it to have gone back. McDonald looking for runners. It's scrappy now for Wasps. Jones makes herself the authority. Offloads to Quansah. We've not seen her in attack yet.
Tap the ball. There's plenty.
Well, quite a frenetic bit of play comes to a conclusion there. But it's Wasps who come away with it. A deliberate knock-on being the disruptive play from the Cherry and Whites. And what will Wasps do here?
Deliberate knock-on. Time off, player receiving treatment.
We could just hear just then Giselle Mather demanding her pack and her 9 to control the ball and control the flow of the game. We just let it get away from us a little bit there, a little bit erratic, with Megan Jones trying to pick it up and then handing it off to Celia, trying to make something out of nothing really on that edge. So just looking for some patience there within the Wasps forwards, and from 9 there from Claudia.
For you as a back row, as a forward, how much of your decision making is your own, and how much is it you just doing what you're told by Claudia McDonald or whoever happens to be wearing the 9 jersey that day?
I would like to say that I could control my decisions on the pitch, but it does come a lot from Claudia and does come a lot from Megan as well. But in Wasps, we have our own way that we like to play in a forward pack. Giselle opens up a real open space for us to grow within the forward pack of what different running lines that we can do, and we have a framework that is there for us to work to. But at the end of the day, if we see the space and we make a really good read, then
yes, it is their line out. 9.
There's only a pat on the back for that to be had, as long as we're making go forward and we're doing what we do best, which is creating front football for our back line.
That's what all good teams have, though, isn't it? They have a structure, they have a framework or a philosophy that they're playing by, but without stifling that creativity and your ability to see opportunity and be able to try and execute it without fear.
Yeah, exactly. We've been looking at a lot of this season, especially with a whole group of new players coming in, including Megan Jones at 10, how she runs the game and how she can bring in her super strength into the game, which I think that Giselle has recognised, and our framework allows us to do really well, which allows the link between the forwards and the backs to open up our speedsters in the back line.
Timing, inset timing, too early. Inset is coming in too early. For me, inset time.
Well,
right. Okay, free kick. No, I can't.
We are going through the law book of line-out infringements today from both sides. I mean, I think one hand is sufficient to count the number of line-outs that have gone right in today's game, Abby.
Yeah, unlucky to see there with the insert just coming in too early there, as we see Sarah Mitchelson, who's just come off the bench, coming in to lift Claire Molloy at the back, just coming a little bit too early. It's the fine line between, are you coming in too early, are you coming in too late? But at the end of the day, it's the referee's decision, and he's deemed it as too early.
Like everything in life, it is all about great timing. And that's line out. Finally, time to perfection. Here comes Celia Quansah. And boy, can she carry and shift. This time last year, scoring tries on the World Series at the Cape Town Sevens. In fact, 2 against Ireland only days ago, a year ago. But for our eyes only here at Twyford Avenue, her carry setting up the platform for Cliodhna to take it forward and win another penalty for Wasps. That's going to surely be a feature of the Gloucester-Hartpury review. The number of penalties that they've coughed up at the breakdown. Plenty of discussion. Sadia Kabea bossing it in that huddle.
I was just about to say that Wasps are taking their time to get to this line out. They're wanting to run down the clock, being able to keep that deficit bigger than what they would like it to be if Gloucester get their hands on the ball, so they want to keep it away.
Another penalty. Mounting up. No hint of any yellow cards, no talking to for captains or players, so no team yellow card on the horizon. I am, Abby, trying to find what the score is at Saracens, because just looking at this scoreline we have here, and if it were to stay the same, this would take Wasps up to 34 points. They'd of course still be in third, but they've surely got their eyes on second, pending what Saracens are doing up in North London. The Wasps are on the hunt for try number 5. And it's not going to happen like that. Handling error at the crucial moment in the red zone. Gives Hartpury a welcome free kick. George, well, the referee's got himself tangled in amongst the contact there, and then Wasps have won a penalty, breakdown, turnover. It was a combination of Moloney and Burnfield.
Use that mark, please.
And Wasps plumping for the poles. They want to make this lead a sure one.
Yeah, that's unlucky there from Gloucester. They were looking like they had disrupted that line out. Wasn't sure whether Wasps would come out with it or Gloucester would come out with it. Then we see that Celia Quansah unfortunately can't keep her hands on the ball. Then we see the replacement 9, Bianca Blackburn, come on. However, it looks like there was a bit of miscommunication between her and George, and then George unfortunately runs into the referee and allows one of the Wasps players to get over the ball, which has led to this penalty. So unlucky for Gloucester there, but as great teams do, they capitalise on people's errors, and we see that internationally all year round. When people make errors, teams can capitalise on them, so let's see if Wasps can do that here.
So on to the queen of capitalisation, Meg Jones. She passed 50 points in just her 7th game against Worcester. And you don't get a better view than that. You can hear whooping and hollering from the touchline as she stretches Wasps points tally to 29.
5 and 10.
You just talk about
5 and 10.
How good it feels as a player when you've got a kicker who is so assured. She's racked up a mountain of points, and it must feel so good, particularly as a forward, because you're working so hard to win those penalties, that you've got someone capable of converting.
Yeah, Meg Jones been at the top of the leaderboard at the moment on tries converted, and it is really reassuring as a forward knowing that sometimes all your hard work is going into the game, and to have a kicker as outstanding as Meg to be able to keep the pressure on, because at the end of the day we're not just getting the limited amount of points, we're getting the maximum amount of points, which is massive for a forward pack to be able to keep that deficit.
So 29-10 here at Twyford Avenue. Wasps with the bonus point, and I've got a bit of news as well, and that is that Loughborough Lightning are ahead at Copthall Stadium. 24-17 at the break. They were leading 24-12 just on the brink, but a Saracens try that went unconverted saw their lead reduced, but a lead nevertheless by 7. If things were to stay the same, that would see Wasps up to second on 34 points. And Saracens with their first loss of the season, but as Wasps well know, Saracens fight to the very end. And here's a bit of fight from Gloucester-Hartpury. A mazy slaloming run from Mia Venner before she's tracked down and loses control of the ball in the breakdown. Advantage over after Wasps kick to relieve the pressure. We've seen a replacement at scrum half. Mo Hunt is no longer with us. Bianca Blackburn, another very, very talented scrum half, now calling the shots from the base of the breakdown. Wasps rushing defence, smothering Gloucester-Hartpury. Yeah, tell me.
We've also seen a change in with Meg Jones coming off the field, then Flo Williams coming onto the field, looking to change some momentum, and especially her kicking game as well is an asset to Wasps' team as well, so looking to see how she can implement on the game.
No advantage.
Carry through there through Claky George, but it's been turned over by Wasps.
The player has stood up on the wrong side. Do you have a player down?
However, Gloucester have an advantage. However, we currently have a player down in Mia Venner.
Do you want to wait for her?
This will just look to slow down, look for Gloucester to be able to get set in their attacking picture, but it also means that Gloucester can get set in their defensive shape as well.
Just wait for 11.
So with just 2 minutes remaining, I think that we can be confident the Wasps are going to be finishing 2020 on a high. 5 points, taking them to 34 in the league. But I want to ask you, from a Gloucester-Hartpury perspective, what do you think they're going to be taking from this?
Stood up on the wrong side.
I think it's just looking to just be more clinical in certain areas. They've had so many opportunities within the 22 when they've put Wasps under the pump, and it's just little errors here and there, whether it be at a line out, whether it be at a drop ball. They'll just be looking to capitalise on their opportunities, but they're doing half the job. They're creating the opportunities, they're getting down into the 22, it's just finishing them off at the moment. But they are a very, very impressive side, and I think that they've been put forward to be one of the up and running teams to be able to challenge your likes of Saracens and challenge your likes of Harlequins, and they've been a tough feat for Wasps today.
A tough challenge, but one they look to have mastered, although this fight from Gloucester-Hartpury is admirable as they look to cross the line one last time. They got their first try, their only try in the closing moments of the first half. Will they do the same again in the second? No points really on offer if they do cross, unless we've got time for a restart. Our clock might be slightly different from the referees, but we were pretty much on the money in the first half, and well, there have been a few stoppages. Our clock watch has been pretty observant, and you know, the camera falling there on Claky George. She's been terrific for Gloucester-Hartpury today.
Yeah, just adding on to that, Burnty, she's been absolutely outstanding. I thought that she's commanded the game really well from the Gloucester-Hartpury's point of view. Talking about her forwards, putting them in the correct positions, putting her backs through lines. You can see the breaks that the backs are making. It's just finishing them off. So she's been instrumental to this Gloucester side today.
Another line out going, all right. I think that's probably got to be the most frustrating thing for any Gloucester-Hartpury fan, and certainly the coaches and the players, that this platform that they've really pinned their colours to over the season has let them down so chronically today as well. You know, you can understand a few going astray, but it's really hamstrung any attempts to get any fluidity and purpose to their attacks.
Yeah, but what we see is when they do get their hands on the ball and they're getting clean ball, they're really putting a mark on the game. They're getting good go forward, whether it be off a driving maul, whether it be off a peel play from the line out. When they get clean ball, they're looking really, really fierce and really dominant. But then also on the Wasps side of that, they are putting the Gloucester players under pressure when it comes to line out time, which has just meant that it has disrupted the line outs.
Wasps carry from the base, big fend, but well held on to in the tackle. The 9 taken out, but looked like good timing, and the referee satisfied as well. Long arm in the sky, penalty. They try to go quickly, but they're pulled back to the mark. Now they go. Can Gloucester-Hartpury finish by crossing the whitewash? They try to do so through Bryony King. Blackburn bossing her forwards, as Hunt before her did. This is the style of attack that won them that solitary try in the first half. Another block of 3, rumble forward. Surely there's a gap for Blackburn to go over.
Relax.
And she's across.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Plenty of fight in both sets of players as Bianca Blackburn scoots across after good work from her forwards, carrying in 3s through the midfield. Gloucester-Hartpury with their second of the match. An easy kick to come. 29-17 the score will be. Is there time for any last drama in this match?
So it's time for the restart. We will restart.
Time for the restart. And as you said just before that, almost prophetically, that when Hartpury do get that continuity, we've seen what a presence they can be in attack.
Yeah, Hartpury are so dangerous when they just get going. Like, you can see there, exactly like in the first half, the forwards just dominating. A really, really great carry there from, I think it was Robin Locke, to get us started, going towards momentum, towards a line, which just allowed Bianca Blackburn to be able to pick up the ball and be able to dot it over the line. So they have been instrumental when they're getting into the 22. The forwards have been really trying to capitalise on it, and you see when they get the ball in hand and when they carry on rolling, they get that score.
Yeah.
Time for the restart. Time for Gloucester-Hartpury to maybe
last play.
Get one more try to bag a losing bonus point. What a Christmas gift that would be, having been behind for the entirety of the game ever since Maudmuir hemorrhaged their defence after 3 minutes in the first half. Hartpury with a spring in their step. They sense there's still opportunity. They can still take something away with them down the M4, and they go wide down the left flank. A beautiful show and go from Rachel Lund. They're up to the 10 metre. Blackburn buzzing at the base of the breakdown. To George, finds a runner on her shoulder. He blasts through a gap. Bethan Lewis, incredible work effort from her throughout the contest. The ball doesn't go to hand, but space opens up for Hannah Jones. George seeks the edges again. Wasp players flood in to try and push her across the touchline, but to no avail.
Clear out by the neck. Clear out by the neck.
Clear out by the neck.
That is,
awarded to
tap it
Wasps.
And then kick it out. Make sure we're 10. If you want to end the game, you must tap it and then kick it out, as it's a penalty.
So, decision to make here for Wasps.
Make a decision, please.
I think Wasps going to keep on going here.
Plenty of opinions chiming in from all sides of the field. But eventually, sense prevails. They've got their 4 tries, they've got their 29 points, and they've got all 5 match points with a big win over Gloucester-Hartpury. Let's have a look at those second half tries.
Do that. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. It's easier. I don't have the mobility.
And we're kicking this off with a perler
Well done, mate.
from Cliodhna, the woman who cannot stop scoring.
Yeah, we see there just a fade on the pass, as I said before, from Meg Jones. Look at the base set from the forwards there. The pass from Meg Jones to Cliodhna, with Amy Wilson-Hardy also running at the line. It just puts that doubt in the defenders' minds of who are they going to hit? Are they going to hit Ellie, or are they going to hit Amy Wilson-Hardy? So it's a really, really impressive try, and straight off the training ground, as we said at the time.
And Gloucester-Hartpury, they stayed in the fight throughout the game. And they really did deserve this try at the end, because when they did have the ball and they did manage to string the phases together, they showed us what they're capable of. And Bianca Blackburn being the beneficiary just to the left of the upright, but we didn't see enough of it, and it is Wasps Ladies who triumph here at Twyford Avenue, a bonus point win over Gloucester-Hartpury. They go into the festive break on a 4-game streak. 29 points to 17 winners in this round 9 fixture of the Allianz Premier 15s, with thanks to the Wasps Legends Charitable Foundation. So,
Rock with me, all my girls with me.
Out towards Chloe Rolly, wonderful step from the Scotland international, gliding away, running away, sprinting away, stunning score!
Lewis on the wraparound. This might work out for Thompson. They're going to put a little bit more on it, and then they're over.
Large on the ball, lovely flighted pass, Tatiana Hurd with a straight line, streaking towards the try line in the opening minute. She spills away, dives over the line, wonderful fly from Tatiana Hurd.
Megan Jones puts the afterburners on. Shot in Harris. 2-on-1 is Lydia Thompson. Oh no, you're not going to catch Lydia Thompson from there. Scott. Oh, it's intercepted by Emily Scarrett. They won't catch Emily Scarrett from there. The long legs just eating up the ground. Oh, Chloe Rowley's making her way back, but she won't catch her. Emily Scarrett has been on fire.
Carson again, she's having an absolute stormer of a second half. The Canadian international still going, gets the offload out. Lottie Clark bursts away from the tackles, gives it off. Carson again, looks on the outside, Packer for the hat-trick. What a score from Saracens. What a comeback.
Someone rock with me, all my girls with me. Rock with me.
Turnover by Molloy. And McDonald sets off. Claudia McDonald. Mack is back, and in fine style. Oh, it's a fine strike. Marston controlling brilliantly. Now Bristol Pack going forward. It's a penalty try. Oh, now there's a gap. Burgess.
Rock with me, all my girls with me.